What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more of The Cure from the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me album, 1987. And we're going to do a 2-for-1. And the first track in this 2-for-1 is, appropriately enough, One More Time, and then the second track is Like Cockatoos. So, One More Time, aside from making me think of the Years Later track by Daft Punk, it suggests one more articulation, one more expression, one more iteration of some experience or process that has happened previously, be it irregularly, periodically, or indeed constantly, though there's also a suggestion that there will only be one more, or at least only one additional occurrence is being indicated, which is further to say it's not necessarily specifying a frequency or many additional occurrences. So, yeah, there's a lot that might mean in the context of a narrative, but it's just the phrase itself, so we'll see what's happening in practice. The second track, Like Cockatoos, are cockatoos one of the birds that mimic cries or sounds they hear? I know the magpie does that. If the cockatoo does do that, then that would certainly suggest a back and forth of similar statements, similar sounds and expressions, and obviously in a human context that could mean some very specific things, but like with the previous track title, it's only just kind of hinting at a larger concept. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. Let's hear them. This is The Cure. The first track is One More Time, and then it will be followed by Like Cockatoos. Make sure I have this queued up right. I do. before like Cockatoos starts. So yeah, I mean, like again, it's another one where Robert doesn't come in on the vocals for a minute or two, and I was just about wondering if it would be an instrumental when we finally heard him. Though it's interesting because he first came in sort of subtle and quiet and almost in the background, and then his voice became much fuller uh, a few lines later. So sonically it's intriguing. Like there's part of it where I was thinking it almost sounds like a Renaissance type of tune, like something about the like almost sounded like a pipe organ synth line, and this it was sort of light and floaty and a bit quirky, which there are tunes of theirs that I've heard which are light and fun and a bit catchy, but this wasn't that. It had like a different feel to it, almost like a fantasy feel to it is the way it hit my ears and brain. And it's interesting because lyrically, you could read it straight away about being in another person's arms and being lifted up, and that making him feel like he's kissing the sky, like he's touching the sky. But it did make me think, because the line "I'm so high," and like even before that line, I was thinking this. One more time, it's almost like you're pledging that like I'm not going to indulge in this more. I'm not going to become addicted to this. So I was thinking it could be more metaphorical in the idea of whether it's a drug or some sort of addictive behavior, whether that is some intoxicant, alcohol, or whether it's sex or something where it's like if done in moderation, it's fine, but if indulged in, if done too much, it can become like this addictive pursuit that is perhaps unhealthy. So it almost felt like an addict saying, just one more let me just touch the sky one more time, embraced in this feeling, up high in this feeling, and then I won't ask for it again. So, and maybe I'm thinking of Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode, which incidentally I thought for the longest time that was about Dave's struggles with heroin and drug use. And then it was brought to my attention that Dave hadn't really got even into that yet, and it's a song written by Martin. So it's like, oh wait, like it kind of changed my perception of that song. But that type of song or that type of songwriting is what I thought might be happening here. So again, I think it's just as easy to read it straight away and wanting like one more connection and not asking for more than that, but wanting to touch the sky and have their arms around you and so on. But yeah, I feel like it could be read a couple different ways, and obviously I don't know what Robert was thinking. AK might have some comments, often has some good quotes from Robert directly, so we'll see about that. But yes, okay, like Cockatoos, again, I don't know the specific behavioral attributes of Cockatoos, so I can't speak to whether this might be about mimicking or repeating sounds, but that's my guess, my very speculative guess going into it. What is happening with my eye here? Let's listen to it. This is The Cure, and the song is, excuse me, Like Cockatoos. is that the sound cockatoos make? Or at least like a synth rendition of the sound they make? So yeah, a shorter sort of abstract kind of art piece, and Robert again vocals that are ensconced within the larger atmosphere. At first I was thinking like number one, it sounds a bit Eastern and there's a bit of dissonance to it as it went along. It did sort of evolve, but definitely a bit of a wicked feeling to it, even though it wasn't particularly dark or heavy. And I enjoyed that rising synth line, which I forgot to mention, that descending synth line in the previous tune, One More Time. That one really caught my ear, and then in this case it was like a darker sounding tune, but there was a synth line that was rising, so that was a nice juxtaposition. But yeah, I don't quite know what to make of it, and I don't think there's any sense of it being about sounds repeating, so apparently cockatoos don't do that. I could actually look up what the sort of fundamental behavioral essence of cockatoos are, and maybe that would provide some insight. But yeah, there was a real like otherworldly type of feel to this. It couldn't have been that long. That one felt quite short. Let me see how long that was. Sorry, this player, like, it turns off when it finishes playing. Yeah, it was... Oh, it's actually a little bit longer than I thought. It's over 3.5 minutes, but yeah, I don't quite know what to make of that one. That one sort of washed over me, and I was really like focused on some of the sonics, which including that, sounded like seabirds, flying in from the water, like over the shore. So yeah, I wonder what that might mean. I suppose I'll do this. I'll look up cockatoos while we're here in the video still, and see if that provides any insight in relation to what we just heard. Oh, so cockatoos is like a genus. There's 21 species of parrots that constitute the group that are known as cockatoos. So, yeah, they have curved bills. Their plumage is less colorful. They're monogamous and they nest in tree hollows. Alright. Yeah, I mean, they're parrots, so I guess that kind of does suggest they might repeat. Oh, so in Australian slang or vernacular speech, a person who is assigned to keep watch while others undertake clandestine or illegal activities, particularly gambling, may be referred to as cockatoos. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I'll look forward to any insight people might have. But again, it's amazing the sonic variety of The Cure. I've talked about it on a number of reactions, so I won't belabor the point, but from heavy, dark tunes, which sound, very echoed and underwater, to kind of raw post-punk type of sounds, to really catchy melodic pop tracks, to a tune like this, which feels very experimental and abstract. So yeah, definitely the variety of The Cure on full display just on this album alone, never mind in their larger discography. But yeah, another cool one from them. Let me know what you think, or rather, two cool ones from them. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.